Hello everybody. I'm going to demonstrate today how to make a artisan sourdough. I think I said that first word right. So first I need about 165 grams of magic. This is where the magic happens. It is my sourdough starter. I have named her my precious. Everybody thinks I'm a little crazy, but hey, she is precious and she's beautiful. I love the webbing. I could go on and on about her, but I'm not going to. I'll bore you to death. Anyways, 165 grams of sourdough starter. Okay, did a little too much, but that's okay. It's a clean bowl. I can put some of her back in. She poured out really, really fast because she's very happy. There we go. Perfect. 165 grams. And I need 400 grams of water. I do warm water just to allow the fermentation to kind of speed up a little bit. Sounds interesting, huh? Sorry. Yikes. Oh man, a little more, that's okay. A little more isn't gonna hurt. A little more hydration will be fine because I'm actually gonna be adding some seeds later to this dough as kind of an experiment to see how they do. And sometimes seeds kind of soak in water. So you want to mix the sourdough starter and the water together until it's kind of a milky consistency. Make sure it's all thoroughly mixed. And now I'm going to add 15 grams of salt. I always use pink Himalayan salt. I just feel like it's better. I don't know why. It's just what I use. There we go. Mix that in a little bit. And then 650 grams of bread flour. It makes a pretty large loaf, but I don't really want to make them smaller, so I do 650 grams. It's a lot of flour, but hey, when it's good, it's good. Here we are. Now you mix this until you get what's called a shaggy dough, which I'll kind of show you what that means. This is my Danish dough whisk. That's why it has little holes in it. I love this thing. I have another type that I bought thinking that it would be better, but I keep going back to this one just because I feel like it moves through the dough a little bit easier. Which, when the dough is this difficult to move with, then it's nice to have something that just kind of glides through. Now that is pretty much what you would consider a shaggy dough. It's not completely, it doesn't really look beautiful yet, but as I will show you with the process, it turns into something just absolutely gorgeous. All right, I will cover this and then we will come back in 1 hour and I'll show you the next steps. So it's been about an hour. This is the, like I said, the artisan sourdough. I always label everything when I'm making multiple batches of stuff, so that way I know what is in here so I don't get anything mixed up. So anyways, it has sat for an hour. That is what's called, I forgot to tell you earlier, that's called an autolyse, I think is the way you pronounce the term. It just allows the water to, or the flour to absorb the water properly. So now that's what it looks like now. It's not quite as shaggy anymore, but it's not beautiful. You'll see as I work the dough that it's gonna be really, really nice, like toward the end. I always wet my hands with water because it allows the sourdough not to stick as bad. We're also going to be adding some chia seeds and some hemp seeds. So now what I do is I just do what's called a stretch and fold. This will start getting, it develops a gluten content, but it also will allow the seeds to start kind of getting mixed in there. So that was a 1/4 cup of chia seeds and a 1/4 cup of hemp seeds that I put in there. I'm just gonna do 4 more, or actually that's 2 right there. Do this 2 more times and then it's gonna sit for about 30 minutes and then we will do more stretch and folds. So that's 1 round. Now it's starting to look a little more like bread dough. So we'll come back in 30 minutes and do another round of stretch and folds, and I'll see you then. Okay, peoples, we are back for our last set of stretch and folds on our artisan sourdough bread that has chia seeds and hemp seeds. So that's what it looks like. Do our last set of stretch and folds. And if you remember what it looked like after first mixing it up, it was like really, it didn't look very much like bread, but if you look at it now, it definitely is looking like bread dough. So yeah, just feeling the consistency of this, it is definitely ready to just sit. That'll be the last stretch and fold I do on this. Now is the bulk ferment. So that's what it looks like, last stretch and fold. I'll cover this up and maybe 2-3 hours later, we'll come back and see how it looks and see if it's ready for shaping and to put in the fridge. Alright, so this has been bulk proofing for, well, after all our autolyze and the 3 30-minute stretch and folds, and then like, what, 2 hours? I don't know how many hours that is. It's done. That's what it looks like now. It's ready for shaping. So I have already dusted my counter with a little bit of rice flour. And I've also dusted my Benetton. I don't know if I ever say these words right. I'm not very good Englishing, so Benetton thing is that. So it's been dusted with some rice flour also. So we're gonna shape this into a loaf. I don't know all the technical terms of how this is done. This is just how I do it. So as long as it looks pretty and round-ish, then I call it done. Some people stitch up their dough a little more than what I do. I really don't do a whole lot of stitching. They say it helps with the rise, to stitch it up a little more, but I'm not too picky. As long as it tastes good and looks pretty decent, I'm okay. So now I will be covering this and putting it in the fridge for almost 24 hours, and then come back tomorrow night and bake it up and see what it looks like. Hello, so it is now the next day and we are gonna bake this artisan loaf that you saw me do yesterday. Oh yeah, sorry, you wanted to see that? It's been cold proofing for almost 24 hours. I like normally to do it for 24 hours, but since this is just for us, I'm a little impatient and I'm gonna get it done right now. It'll still be very yummy. So, see how beautiful that is and how floofy, and now I'm gonna score it. I'm not real good at decorative designs, but I will try my best. Scoring it just, it's not just for decoration, it also helps allow the gas to escape. You do like one decorative and then you do one that is a deep score. The deep score is where you want it to the gas to actually escape. And this is what it's called, an expansion score. So it's gonna expand and it's hopefully keeps my design nice and pretty. And you put it in, I always do it in a cold Dutch oven. Lid on first. And then I'm gonna put it in the oven for 1 hour at 450 degrees. And then we'll come back and see what it looks like when it's done. All right, we are ready to take this out and see what it looks like. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful. So you always want to temp it and make sure that the temperature is correct. Because the last thing you want is raw dough in the middle. 205. As long as it gets to 205, I'm happy. And that means it's cooked in the middle and it's good. Alright. So carefully, move this out of here, and I'm going to put it right to my cooling rack, which I have just wiped off to make sure that it's clean. And then we will let it cool for an hour before we can cut it. All right, now it's time to cut into it and see what it looks like. It's almost sad to cut into them because they're so beautiful. But let's see. Let's see how well I did. Look at that. Nice and soft. And it smells so good. All right, and that's it. Goodbye.